Welcome to episode 13 of Synchronicity. I am your host, your fellow creator, Tahuti Hermes Trismegistus, aka the Trippy Trip C Thrice Great Chase Clarence Calloway. And this is our podcast where we know that everything is intentional because nothing is a coincidence. As in, everything coincides inside of nothing, and everything is underneath the tent of going in. That is why everything is intentional. All of us as spirits desire to go in to our own tent, to go back in to our own space. The moment we find ourselves aware of anything outside of us is very subconscious. Everything is intentional. Okay? So this is, again, like when people don't like me kicking Hermeticism because they want to feel more like a victim, and they want to feel like they're not creating their life, and they can't fully relate with like, yeah, but what about when people go through circumstances that they totally didn't create? How can you say that their life was intentional? You can't say their life is hermetic. They're just at the whim of things. Like, let's break down what intentional really means so you're not lost in it like we just did. Okay? So the fact is, as a spirit, the moment that you are aware of anything outside of yourself, that is intentional. And it's teaching you how to be more intentional. There's many ways we could even get into breaking that word down as far as somatically. But that's not what this episode is about. This episode, we are talking about everyone's favorite freedom fighter, money. Money will fight for your freedom as long as you serve it forever and ever. Money will give you all the freedom in the world. Money will give you all of the freedom as long as you do exactly what it says at exactly the time that it tells you to do it, and you live completely by its rules, or else no freedom for you. That's what we're talking about today. Money. What is money? Why is money important? How does money manifest in realms and realities? If you have gone into our Dissect the Dialect series, then you know that money is the 13th letter of the English alphabet. Welcome to episode 13. 13 is about a spirit's individual idea on communication. 1 plus 3, 1 is that individual imagination. 3 is perfect air communication. Once a spirit has their individual idea on how life should communicate, it has now created money. So, I'm about to hit this. I don't have any trees to simmer right now. I'm also not drinking any tea. So, I'm just gonna hit this wax, bring my energy into my tree. We're gonna vibe a little bit and get into what money really means. How does money manifest? And how do we build a better relationship with all the things that money seemingly allows us to connect to? My soul's been crying. I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My mind's been flying wild. My soul's been crying. I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying so high through the the astral plane, Merkaba brain. I built your game, we're not the same. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying to relay a word. Those who listen heard, we make our vibe from deep inside. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying back into my space, called away with haste, so I'll fall with grace to thrill my chase. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying too. Water my earth, I know my worth. My soul gives birth to all my work. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying, so I can't connect with those you neglect. Time to correct how we reflect. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying too. Who flood the sea with energy from my energy? I'm free to be me. I felt to inspire you to say how to fly higher too. Fly higher too. Fly higher too. Hang out with the fam in your true spot. Don't be sad if you forgot that you've got a spirit squad and you're not true to this spot. Flip a script and break the facade. Take a trip and go abroad. When you're brave, they will apply. When you get in touch with your true God. I've been fighting. I've been vibing when I'm dancing with demons, reversing curses, they scheming. They be fiending for reasons to change our sins like the seasons. So I've been falling, cause y'all been calling my mind out of my spirit. I feel it best when I'm near it, but y'all cry for help and I hear it. So Hermes flies out to stare it in a new healthy direction. Will grow through natural connection. So I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C to level up like it's nothing, to turn into something, to bust into function, bumping and pumping with all the wisdom I'm gushing. And when I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C, I felt to inspire you. Simmer higher, I simmer in the skies, I triple in my chi, then I open up my eyes. Symmetry, I balance in my seasons. I mother the cohesion that keeps us intertwined. Symmetry, balance in my seasons, and I don't need a reason to fulfill my desires. Symmetries. Money. So 1 + 3 is 4. Right here we see that money is the number 4. So 4 is structure. 4 is the box. 4 is literally then earth. So anytime we think about money, we think about structure. We think about earth. We think about a spirit building a structure. So this is what M energy is about. Making your light matter. Right? That L is the 12. That's your clock. A spirit uses light to communicate how they cycle through their connections, how they cycle through their water, through their emotions. They use light to communicate that externally, and then they make those communications matter. So this is why money starts with M, just like mind starts with M, and muscle starts with M. Because muscle is the actual structure that represents you as a spirit making money off of your mind. So to make money, to build a structure, is literally to stabilize the way that you change inside of your space. So we know as spirits, the only constant is change. M, matter, the letter M in general, 13 energy, is always going to be us desiring to stabilize the way that we change so that we can build a structure off of it and make money. Now we can make the way we communicate matter. Otherwise, if you're just communicating without the desire to stabilize the way you communicate, then you'll live a whole life and have nothing to show for it. So this is why money is basically the ultimate desire for spirits in all realities. Like whatever it means to you, the point of tapping into the symmetry is that we're getting into the root of everything spiritually, all these lights. So we can't get lost when people try to like get, super detailed with words and their weird connections with words and everything, because we're connected to ourselves. All right, we are hermetic. We've got our caduceus in check. Everything is internally harmonious. So when something disharmonious from the environment comes into our field, our spidey senses go off. All right. So this is why numbers is so important. Numbers are literally the universal language that spirits use to make their feelings matter. So it's really hard to get lost in lies when you're able to see how the numbers connect. Now, again, anyone can make up numbers. Of course, like we live in a world where people can throw up numbers on a screen and they just literally concocted them from their imagination. But now they made the numbers matter because they made you pay attention to them. And now the numbers literally matter because you connected with them. You brought them into reality. So money in all realms and realities, with it being 13 equaling 4, is only ever the desire for spirits to create a structure out of how they communicate. So this is what any corporation does, right? We see how, when I bring attention to all of these subconscious things, it only ever becomes clear that that's what spirits must do consciously. Like when we're aware of how the subconscious operates, then we're able to consciously communicate better and more clearly see where everyone else is communicating from. Because life is subconscious. So, of course, like, it doesn't matter how you feel about your business. I'm watching you use Hermetic principles to build it. So it's not about like you know about Hermeticism or not. It's just about the fact that I can communicate about how life is created. And these are the words that I use so we can all communicate about it. And then once we're all communicating about it, of course, that's where Judeo-Christian religions can come in, like, okay, but we don't want you talking about how others can build their own lives. We're going to twist this into how people can build life for us. And we are going to do that by teaching them that they're of sin. And we're going to project all of our problems onto them. And then that's where our ultimate lesson is that perception is projection. So that's why it's also important to be careful with life actually being so subconscious. You can never know how someone feels or thinks until open communication is made. And this is why air is everything. The mind. Okay, so this is the fact of life. You can never get out of your feelings, because your feelings are literally what are making anything that you're observing matter to you. Like, you have to water your environment with your soul in order for things to actually matter. So it's about being able to mediate your feelings and being able to build a relationship with yourself with that awareness. Like, a thought is a hyper-specific feeling. So this is the point of generate hate to levitate your 7 into heaven. When you hate the vibration that you're in, you create a thought that is a 7 that you add so much higher vibrational energy to, it levitates you out of that 8 into 10, into heaven. And now you can connect with your spirit in a greater way that allows you to actually create heaven for yourself. So, once you're in heaven, again, we're talking about money. You're trying to make money out of your heaven. You feel me? Like, your heaven is you alone with yourself. And you can make all this money, but this is where we have to get into a little more wisdom about money then. Okay? Because the fact is, money, being earth, being 4, only comes out of water. And esoterically, right, rolling with Tahuti Trismegistus, we know that earth being structure and water being connection means that money is really just connections. And this is what we can really see in physical reality, right? So all structures are built through connections. So when you as a spirit desire to make matter, to make your communications matter, you have to create connections, right? We know that money doesn't actually exist or matter until the person who is telling you that it does can get you to believe such, and now you're doing things for the concept that they made up for you to serve. This is why it is impossible for any of the Europeans to have bought land from indigenous peoples. They could only rape, murder, spread genocide, and steal that, and then make money matter from there. Because the fact is, money is a made-up idea that is nothing. It literally is the expression of nothing. It does not matter because it doesn't connect until it can make people connect with it. So indigenous peoples in the colonization of the Americas, it's impossible for any of them to connect with money. It's not an idea they made up. They're nature. They already have all the nature. So then this is where we can historically just see that Europeans made up the concept of money so that they could steal nature. So literally, when we see that money is structure, then the fact is money itself is the desire to build a structure. But the way that it is used, especially in the creation of the Americas, is consuming structures that were already built. So this is where money is imaginary. There's no such thing as money. Money is purely an idea that spirits use to express the structures that they desire to connect to and how much they value that. So when you as a spirit, you want to connect with other spirits because that's like the ultimate desire, is to connect with other spirits that help you connect with yourself. And this is what bodies let you do. This is what your muscles let you do, right? So all these trillions of cells, all these trillions of spirits operating little bodies are working together to make your body so you can do whatever you want. That in and of itself is all these spirits making money, making structure out of how they communicate the connections that they're also creating. So they're creating connections, they're communicating as they're creating those connections. They're creating connections also through communication, because that's what the air is representing, and they're building structures to do that. This is why your body is constantly growing. So this is where literally you are money. And this is why an entity who wants to make money matter has to convince you that it does matter and then make your muscles do something that they would not have otherwise done. And now, because your muscles, the feeling that you put into your body, are being put into their concept, now their money matters. So truly, spirit, spirits matter, and spirits matter in the way that we can see in Dissect the Dialect. It comes to the letter N. So we have covered this in Dissect the Dialect, LMNO. The moment you believe money matters, the spirit comes in to show you that nothing matters. Nature matters. Niggers matter. Negroes matter. Right? In matters. Nothing matters. Oh. The moment you realize that nothing matters, you go back into your own space. Once you die, once your matter turns into nothing, once your body goes back to nothing, you go back into your own space and you are left with your feeling. You are left to have sex with yourself. Thus is a cycle of life. That's why O is a circle. So it's obvious that money does not exist. Nature exists. Money is just us figuring out how we value nature. And this is why every individual has their own connection with money as a concept. Yet what I'm saying is just straight up everything, okay? Because this is literally the subconscious world that connects all spirits, no matter how lost they are in the consciousness. This is spider world. This is symmetry world, Mercury world. Because we know that life is literally only possible because spirits desire to connect. So this is the wisdom of money. Money is a desire to stabilize and value connections. And now you as a spirit can learn what actually matters to you based on where you're putting your money. Right? So to bring it super to 3D world, there's a difference between someone who's putting their money into cryptocurrency versus someone who puts their money into fast food. Right? So if someone's over here fasting, they're like, I'm not going to eat and I'm going to put my money in crypto. Versus someone who's like, man, I'm going to keep eating. Let me just like keep spending my money on fast food. There's a difference between these two spirits, right? You can't tell me they're both an extension of the same God. I'm going to slap you if you do. Like, you're whack. I hate you for that. Like, if you really try to tell me that these two spirits are an extension of the same God and that God's responsible for us, you get a slap. And I want you to feel that slap. So it's going to sting. Because the fact is, we're all individual. So that's the point. Money, though, is the manifestation of the energies that I'm saying. Because the fact is, as spirits, we are all vibrating at certain frequencies to create the energy that allows us to experience ourselves. So depending on the frequency that each individual space is vibrating at, that's going to dictate the energy that they create and the energy that they consume in order to experience how they feel about their imaginations, which no one else can see but themselves. This is why you are alone as an individual in your own space, in what you see. And you must always bring your eye into existence, which is what the elements, as we know, are. We work from nothing into fire, into water, into air, into earth. And this is why all earth, all the structures that we see are created through communication. All the bodies that we use to experience ourselves breathe air. And they're only possible because of water. They're only possible because of connections. And all these connections express an individual, right? So that's where life is infinitely just macro, micro in that way. Okay, it's so beautiful being able to separate one's mind and see and learn and navigate infinite realms and observe how this is just the base science. Like spirits first use elements and then numbers to create everything that we use, that we just see and feel to experience ourselves. No matter what we categorize it as, it is at its base. First, us is nothing, creating elements, creating fluid light that we then anchor into stable quantitative light logically. And that's where life is always that nothing into internal and then external. So internally, there's no numbers really. You can create numbers, and that's where you create your own external on the internal, and that's us building simulations internally and everything, because we are not our space, and then we just expand our space and expand, and it's lit. But you as a spirit do not need to use numbers to exist inside of yourself. The whole point of numbers is that they are the unifying earth that stabilize all of our abilities as spirits to connect with spaces outside of ourselves, which is why 1 equals 1 is just the basis of the universe. You know, like, because the fact is, like, that's it. Because the fact is, you as a space, the fact that you, I have to keep saying the fact, all right? Because, like, the fact that you as a space are individually aware of yourself means that you are one and you equal yourself. You are connecting with yourself. And just the fact that you can even observe you connecting with yourself means that you are none of those things. So it's literally that you as an infinite spirit are creating this awareness that allows you to turn into something. And now all this something is the elements. Okay, that's all internal. That is the nothing into fire, and then water, and then air, and then earth. But these elements only exist through numbers. It's so trippy. So this is why, like, everything then is geometrically mathematical, sacred, all that beautiful stuff, because it's literally numbers playing out through shapes then. It's so trippy. And it's like so many ways that this stuff can play out based on the atmosphere of the water that we're in. So the realm that we're in right now is humans on quote unquote planet Earth is very dense. So it's like just so grounded here, right? But it can go so many ways to get into all that. The fact is, like, the way that money itself is numbers. So you are the money. You as an individual, you make everything that you observe matter. This is why other people want to make you believe that money matters so much. Because the moment they can make you believe that their imagination, their individual idea is more valuable than your own awareness, now you as a spirit are only going to be able to use your awareness to focus on their idea. And this is how they trap you in a vibe. They trap you in their world. 1 + 1 is 2. They've now killed you with light. It's that JKL, right? You gotta sacrifice your individuality to Jesus and then believe that all this metal that they've stolen from Native Americans is now their money, and you need to slave away to get the metal money from them so you can give it back to them to get into the heaven that you have sacrificed your individuality to the only Son of God to. So many levels of just sucking spirit souls and making money out of limiting how everyone communicates. Because the fact is, this is just how life plays out. You're always building a structure through how you communicate, right? So you think about this on a day-to-day basis. The way that you live your day-to-day life, the way that you go through your daily motions is literally building the structure that's going to support what you experience yourself as a year from now, right? So no matter what, as a spirit, money is just the representation of how we make our lives matter in any realm in reality. So it plays out as many ways, but then this is the fact of being indigenous. When you're indigenous and you don't care about money, you are infinitely the most powerful, because the fact is, money only matters because of you. Like, money is here taking nature. Like, when we look at then history to like bring it to a 3D way, like, I don't need to get like super historical. We literally can only see that money is people taking metal, right? Money is supposed to be gold, silver, like literally just natural minerals, natural earth objects. And then throughout history, money stopped being backed by earth, literally. Like, money was mainly backed by earth, but then it became backed by trees. Now it's like way more about paper. So not earth, but the plant, the wood that comes from water being added to earth. So the 6. Now it's just straight up your belief. Right? Like, we're literally now in the time where money is not even really backed by metal. It's not really backed by earth. It's not really even backed by trees or paper or natural resource in the physical nature sense. It's literally backed spiritually by how much the system has gotten you and everyone in this realm to believe in it up to this point. So money started, of course, we see like as, oh, we are collecting natural resources, the gold rush. We are getting to project our individual idea of what's valuable in the environment. And then now, you know, us as white supremacists, we're going to spread slavery throughout Africa and the Americas and Australia and just everywhere in the world based on how we are projecting our idea of money into people who are just happily living alone with themselves, and they have resources that we actually want. And the only way we can take the things that we want from them is to make them believe that they don't actually have anything of value somehow. It's so weird. It's so gross. So, or what they try to say is, oh, you have all these things of value and you're not even doing anything with it, aka making money. So here, and that's the more the actual European colonial rationalization for why Christians feel like they're empowered by Jesus to spread rape, murder, and constant genocide throughout indigenous peoples' worlds, and take all their resources with railroads and cars, all that R energy. Because in their mind, they're literally like, these niggers, they're not even making the way they communicate matter. They're just out here in nature, just eating fruits and connecting with themselves. Fucking niggers. They're just going inward. They're just going inward into their internal natures. We should rape and kill these niggers. We should enslave them and take all their resources, because that's how we make our lives matter. And literally now we're living in the manifestation of that. New World Order. Whoop-dee. Marvel. Star Wars. Disney. US government. Russian government. Woo. Everyone's lit. Alright, we did it. British Parliament, Vatican. It's fantastic. So this is literally how spirits play out. You feel like this is why I'm here as symmetry. We are able to cultivate our own vibe. All right. We are using our ability to communicate, to build a structure, to create money, aka, quote unquote, make money, to build a structure that makes our mind matter. We're making our minds matter. And by doing that, we are building something that supports our spirit and supports our ability to communicate further. So this is why your mind is it's money, and your mind makes muscles to make money. So your mind metaphysically matters, and then your muscles physically matter. And then obviously we can just see that the physical only matters because of the metaphysical. The muscles only matter because of the mind. This is sort of like cosmically how it plays out in almost all realms and realities. It's weird how polarizing it is, where, and you don't know, but you're about to know. You're hear how I feel about it. And it's just, especially with my life path being too, it's strange, like through my journeys and lessons and awakening and everything here, just seeing like literally life is so polarized. Like the fact that you as a spirit can observe life means that it's 3 energy, but life itself is all 2. Like life is just straight up 2. Like life is water. It is literally, it's 2. It's wild. Like it's just all, and at that point 2 being connections, life being all about connections. So it's like infinitely subconscious in that way, that everything that matters is connected by the 2. Like the thing that matters is the 4, and then 2 plus 4 equals 6, and now we're able to have 6 with the watery box and all these boxes, all this earth that exists inside of water, because that's basically life right now. Like looking around, anything that you can touch is 4. The fact that it exists is within 2. You observing that is what brings 3 into all of that. And this is why life is 3. Because it takes you as a spirit to be aware of all these connections to actually make them matter to you. And now you are using your ability, your soul, your ability to be aware, your ability to connect with yourself, which creates your soul, to add your feeling into the universe, and then create earth bodies, create cells that stabilize into your human body that allow you to further communicate and make your mind matter. Now you can make money off of all of your individual ideas and your individual feelings about your ideas. Pretty cool, right? And so it's just always knowing that money doesn't matter, because literally money is just an idea that we are using to figure out how we value connections. So life being 2, it's all about life. Like money is just an individual figuring out, how am I going to stabilize life? How do I stabilize the one connection, life, 2? Like life is boom, 2. How do I stabilize this? And everyone has their own way of making money. That's the point, right? So that's literally what your body is. Like we all have our own minds, and we all have our own bodies, and we have similar enough bodies because we desire to connect our minds. But of course, our bodies are different based on how our minds are different. And we've communicated in this life differently up to this point because we are different spirits. And that's only ever going to show in all realms and realities, because there's no other way. Like it takes us as spirits to make life real. Like literally. So that's why you are real. Okay, you are money. Everything that you're observing is a 2. All right, it all exists underwater. Water is 2. The thing itself is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. So all of that is actually life. Because like the actual life number is 6, but life truly is 2. Like life truly is water. Life truly is connections. And then you are bringing life to life by being aware of it. You feel me? So then that's actually 3. So when we think about like 3 being air, literally the universe exists, right? Like the universe, this body of water, it exists without you. The moment you desire to connect, you are literally bringing your awareness into the universe. It's as simple as that. So that's why 2 plus 1 equals 3. And now you're able to experience yourself as a mind inside of the universe because you desire to connect. And this can be with your own internal universe, right? That's your soul. And then from there, that allows you to do it with the external universe, which is how we're all able to observe each other right now and have shared enough experiences that we're able to relate and connect with each other up to this point. And then we can keep building. And now we're able to make money together. Right? So that's literally then, again, money being all about the earth and our desire to build structures. It shows us that structures that you build alone don't really matter. That's why indigenous peoples in all realms and realities, they have to watch out. Like literally, just always. They have to watch out for white supremacists, for European Judeo-Christian type entities, for light supremacists. Because really a white supremacist is a light supremacist. A light supremacist is a white supremacist. A light supremacist, a white supremacist is someone who uses a made-up concept like money to penetrate your space and blind your eyes so that they can steal your land. Because the fact is, money doesn't matter until they can steal your land with it. Again, indigenous peoples did not have their land bought from them. It's not possible. Okay, so this is how life plays out. And it's like very sad because it's weirdly inevitable. It's so weirdly, grossly inevitable. I almost want to cry. And it's like a big duty, I guess, of mine is Hermes, because my caduceus is the representation in just realms and realities forever of chi and your ability to make money off of your chi. That's what your spine is, to capitalize on your chi. That's what the caduceus represents. And it's just me relaying the signal of what I'm saying right now in a more artsy way. You, as a spirit, are making money by creating a body that allows you to make your mind matter, thus stabilizing the way you connect with yourself and creating the opportunity where you are now able to stabilize how you connect with others. And this is what's building the universe forever and ever. All of us desire to stabilize connections. So this is why we're even then like agreeing to money, and like we're so just willing to agree to things because we know as spirits we're subconsciously here to stabilize connections. This is why we view chaos as negative overall. And again, like most realms and realities, is a subconscious thing. No one, like, there's not really, I haven't seen that in any realm that I've gone to. All spirits view chaotic spirits as negative, because literally the universal fact is what's positive is to support the structures that spirits are building. So this is why black people are so negative to white people, because they literally hate that they have to colonize and rape and murder our families and steal our resources in order to make money. So they call us niggers. They call us the N-word because they hate that they have to make all of their money matter by stealing everything that we create from going inward, by colonizing and consuming the nature that we create from going inward. So money literally does not matter and cannot exist without nature. Money is only ever a spirit creating their individual idea on how to value nature. So this is literally why indigenous peoples get enslaved by money. And there's countless examples of that through this realm at this point historically. And like we know subconsciously, like we can't actually put a value on human life. Can you put a number? Can you put a value on human life? Can you put like a numerical value on a spirit's life overall? Right? Because this is like what we're talking about at this point. And this is why I feel like life is literally just polarized. There's creators and consumers. It's like it's that simple. There's spirits who create and there's spirits who consume. And this plays out then as the spirits who create are indigenous spirits and the spirits who consume are white spirits in that way. And then this is where we see that spirits who create are in their water element because water connects with itself. Spirits who consume are in their fire element because fire is always projecting outward. So now this is where we can see that spirits who create are black and thus unseen because they're too busy connecting with themselves to go out and be seen. Whereas spirits who consume are white and desire to be seen. Thus, they're doing everything they can to constantly go out of their space and make other people see them. So now we can see why in history, these sorts of people would want to keep creating all these weapons of mass destruction and all this technology to be able to keep going out of their space and steal resources from indigenous black water people who are happy creating nature alone. And then these people, the white supremacists, are over here just creating a bunch of ideas on how they can eat indigenous peoples because they're like, whoa, their food looks so good, their bodies look so good, their land looks so good, their flesh looks so good. Let's create just enough so we can consume their creations. And this is the spiritual warfare forever. Like basically, as far as how the duality of life plays out. And the many ways that the creator versus consumer interactions manifest. So money itself is, in all realms and realities, a white supremacist invention because there's no such thing as money. Like money is not real. Money is an individual spirit figuring out how to value what is real. And what is real is that life is created from connections, from the number 2, from water, which is why white people can only ever make money real by going out of their space to rape, murder, and colonize indigenous peoples, to forcibly enter their ego into other realms and realities repeatedly, build railroads to take all their resources. And that's the only way money can ever matter, through slavery then, right? Through genocide, through stealing nature, and now saying, yes, I have, because I have all this money, because I have all this nature. Like, well, did you make that nature? Because that nature, what about that nature's money? That nature is a spirit. Right? And then that's where we see that the people who consistently believe in money, they don't respect the individuals that they're projecting money onto, or else they wouldn't even, I mean, you couldn't possibly support slavery. It just literally wouldn't be possible. It's not, you can't. There's just no feasible way. Like, the only way that you can possibly support infringing upon the consent of another spirit to connect with itself is because you are so lost in believing that your individual idea called money matters more than the actual life that you are using that idea to eat. Which then, I mean, it doesn't matter how much you somehow believe that money matters more than the thing that you're consuming. You're only showing everyone that obviously the thing that you're consuming only matters because of the idea. As in, it takes you having this idea to then project into everything that you want to bring that idea to. This is why it's actually impossible to say how much something is worth. You can't actually say how much that glass cup is worth. Like, one person can say $2, another person can say $100, and they're both right and they're both wrong. Because it's literally just projection of your imagination. Like, that's all money is. And thus the only reason we can speculate on how much money that cup is worth is because there is a cup in the first place, and because we've already built connections and built a relationship with all these structures that other spirits outside of us made. So it's not even our right to project money onto that. That's why money is not indigenous in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's not an indigenous mentality. It's a purely white supremacist type mentality to constantly project numbers onto your environment. Like the people who make the Matrix type deal, just like constantly like projecting your ideas onto the environment of like how you can control things, versus just reflecting and observing and like connecting with yourself and using what you're observing to connect with yourself. Right? Because like that's the epitome of like how money is used, to make spirits connect with the person who made up the concept, but they don't have to connect with you. So like, I've been forced to live a whole lifetime where I have no option but to sit all day every day consuming lies and regurgitating lies and being stressed out of passing all these tests because I'm being told that I need to make money. I need to serve people who are not serving me. But that's the logic. That's the law. Somehow we are trapped in the idea that they are serving us, because that's you. That's why I had to start out this podcast with that joke, I guess. Because it's just that's the thing. People literally think that serving the person who tells them that money is their God is giving them freedom. And it's like infinitely backwards. And I've only laughed about it subconsciously, and I'm glad I get to articulate it in a way that truly makes sense and now is making me money, aka building a structure to support my ability to communicate now. Because as a spirit, as a messenger from Mercury who came in here for this purpose, it has always been baffling to me that people could possibly think in any way, shape, or form that serving the person, that giving your soul, that paying attention to the system telling you that you need money is somehow actually giving you freedom. It is baffling. And this is just the logic that has been used to trick everyone into supporting their own slavery. It's quite remarkable. Just like truly being in the space, like you really believe that serving the person who is telling you they're going to give you freedom is actually going to give you freedom. That's impossible. It's just impossible. And this is why spirituality is truly individuality, and the lesson is always going to be hermetically. If you're not having sex with yourself, if you're not serving yourself, then you are serving something that is not serving you. And I don't really care how much it appears like it's serving you. I love you too much to let you get lost in that. I promise. I promise you it's not serving you. Now, here's the thing. The moment that you know who you are and you are building a structure internally that serves you, you are now able to serve structures outside of yourself in a way that also benefits your structure. That's literally what my lifetime has been in this cosmic way. So this is the balance of knowing that you have to connect with other spirits by serving the same structures. That's why we can understand each other. We've served the same English language. So this is the balance of just making sure that you know that you as a spirit are creating life first internally. And it is up to you to bring that internal into the external so that you can build the universe and build the structures from the inside out to support the life that you desire. That's what money really is. Like when people like talk about making money. So it's so wild, the slavery twisted mentality here of how, especially Americans, but just everyone, like anyone who believes in money, because this is the subconscious issue of money. The moment you believe you can make money, your idea of making money is only going to be serving the person who told you that money matters. And that in and of itself is now you making money matter, because they are getting to colonize your nature. So now, although you would normally be indigenous, you would normally be going into your own space to create new life, to create new nature, going inward to create from your nothingness. Instead, you are using your nature, you're using your inward to serve him. And then that's what makes money matter. And this is why money is causing climate change. It's just endlessly consuming nature. It's endlessly consuming inwards. It's endlessly consuming no thing indigenous, individual spirits. It's that polarity, okay? It really is that law of polarity. This is really why my life path is too. And why I love Anubis so much. I literally can't imagine stepping out of my space without my dog. And like, I have my own heaven, but truly my heaven isn't even like worth it if he's not there. And so the fact is though, money only matters through connections. So like, you can't make money alone. This is why white people throughout all realms and realities use money to enslave black people. And again, we don't have to take this personally, but this is how it plays out in all realms. Because what we have to understand is that the colors, when you as a spirit are vibrating to create, when you as a spirit are vibrating at a certain frequency to create the energy that you are using to express yourself, then the color that you are is expressing your natures. So it's not about you are actually the body, but you are creating something that you resonate with, or else you would not be creating it. So in all realms, it's just like it plays out in terms of spirits that create wider bodies, create lighter bodies. They desire to be seen. They desire to be to project out more and be stars. Like when you look at the night sky, you see stars. Those are white spirits. Whereas the black spirits, the black bodies, they desire to be unseen. And they're the ones who make the white spirits possible. So think about if the night sky was just completely one white light. Like there's just, everyone's a star, right? There's no separation. Like it would make no sense. So this is why life is about three. Because you as a spirit are observing the two. So that means you are the star. The moment you bring your consciousness into the universe, you are shining your whiteness in a sea of blackness. Because the universe is the two black structure, the feelings, the body of water that we create to support our ability to shine and connect and communicate and just everything. That's what two is. Our feelings, our polarity, our ability to connect is what supports and makes anything and all things possible. So again, money doesn't exist without making anyone who has heard of it believe in it. That's why all these movies are about what people would do for money and trying to make people believe in a certain number being a lot, when in reality the entities who are making people believe that a certain amount of money is a lot do not believe these things at all, because it's all made up numbers. And in reality, your mind is the most valuable commodity, and they want you to believe that you are as worthless as possible, because in reality you are the most valuable resource in the universe. This is where nature is an externalization of our spirituality. So know that gold this is why Europeans were obsessed with our gold when they're coming over to Mesoamerica and invading Teotihuacan, invading just the Americas and spreading genocide and the gold rush and everything. The gold rush is literally about colonizing the gold mine and stealing the most valuable ideas in existence, which literally is gold, because we create nature. Okay, so when you spiritually know that, okay, we create nature from the inside out, then gold scientifically is a manifestation of our mind becoming refined and our ability to conduct chi at greater levels. That's what gold is really about. The ability to conduct chi in greater magnitudes. And how we as spirits, just the moment we start communicating, we are building structures that allow us to do that. So this is literally why money is literally the idea, right? The idea of money is projected onto gold the most and throughout all realms and realities. Like, gold is money. Like, obviously gold is way more valuable than money. We know that money does not exist. Money only matters because of gold. And gold is the physical representation of a spirit creating a structure that allows it to conduct chi in greater magnitudes than it actually could without that structure. So this is like the magic of life. This is alchemy. This is I guess, like, I'm like very riled up about this right now because I'm just seeing how passionate I am subconsciously about alchemy and learning. Because as Chase, I'm not like super into esoteric stuff. Like it was truly fasting and me connecting with my dog and going through so many psychedelic experiences. Wow. Like, there's way more than I was even thinking about. Wow. Oh, and there's more now. Wow, I've been through a lot. So it's been a process in this lifetime of just organically working from the bottom up to now get to this point where I feel so connected with my spirit that I'm operating from the top down. And then it just takes me like, then it's like a back and forth of the mind. Like, how much do I feel like I'm operating from the top down and I get into that vibe and really start doing it, versus feeling like I'm operating from the bottom up and I'm then performing at normal chase levels as I've been most of my life. And it's like cool just being able to get closer to spirit and like see like, oh yeah, dang, like these things are like from past lives, like just everything is from past lives. Yeah, everything's from past lives. Like there's not one thing I'm looking at that did not come from a past life, you feel me? Like, it's kind of impossible, actually. That's why I love history. So this is the fact that the present is a gift, and it's only possible because spirits have been connecting a certain way to build the structures that support our ability to connect up to this point. That's why it's important to look at history and reflect upon the past. So I'm just like, yeah, it was just funny watching myself get riled up talking about alchemy. But that's just straight up what gold really is about. It's about. So, money, gold, all realms and realities. Gold is the alchemical, physical, elemental manifestation of a spirit successfully creating a structure that conducts its chi in a way that allows it to communicate at greater levels. And now it can use a structure that it has refined, get some refined gold to then create technology. So this is why we're using gold for interdimensional technological communication, and then the gold gets colonized for way more rudimentary communication technology. But it's still all about using gold, using this metal that conducts chi, conducts electricity to be able to communicate in a way that supports your imagination or whatever. And now you can make money and build a structure off of that structure. So macro, micro, macro, micro in that way. And just like keeps expanding out. So this is why gold is so valuable. Like, gold is literally just that, like that physical manifestation of us making our ability to communicate matter and then being able to conduct it in a way that is valuable. Yeah, like really, that's basically, that's how you make money. Like, that's alchemy right there. Right? Because the warfare, the slavery spiritual warfare of whoever's making you believe in money is that they want you to believe that making money is actively serving, actively giving your time, actively giving your soul to the person who is telling you that you need money. So then that looks like get a job. Literally, like that looks like go work in the field, you N-word. That looks like go to the office and sit down all day, every day, and do our work. And now we'll give you a certain number of what we told you you need to live in land that we stole from people who would not have demanded the same things of you. Of course, you're not actually going to make money that way. Not really. I mean, and of course, that's, again, the balance. That is the balance. The more you serve the system that tells you that you need money to live, the system will reward you with said number. Because that's the only way they're going to be able to keep you alive. So that you can keep building their structure. Of course, the fact is, if you want to, be as rich as possible, then you would actually build your own structure instead of serving someone else's, because serving anyone else's structure is only going to keep you connected to theirs, and their structure is not going to make you rich like if you made your own. Now, this is, of course, the balance of life. This is the infinite balance of life, because I have friends who are, they've in past lives and will in this life, past lives have gone rich off of my structure and supporting it. Just like the cells in my body get rich off of supporting my mind. So again, air, balance, nothing can happen alone. You as a spirit have to be connected with yourself and have a harmonious internal structure, which we call a soul, so that you can be in vibrational resonance with the actual external structures that you find yourself attached to. So now you won't find yourself serving structures that don't actually serve you. You won't be attached and find yourself in like Stockholm syndrome relationships or like narcissistic abusive relationships, because you are so connected with yourself that you don't resonate with such circumstances. So you don't get involved with that. I just actively encourage individuality is all. So of course I'm symmetry, okay? But I'm symmetry actively encouraging individuality with empathy. Individuality with empathy. So it's like I'm air actively encouraging fire with water. As a nothingness, right? So I'm actually nothing, but I'm air, because as nothing, I'm experiencing myself as the mind, as symmetry, as Tahuti. And of course, my muscles make my mind matter. And now I'm moving my muscles with my mind in a way that allows me to make money. One plus 3 equals 4. So this is literally how we build our bodies and make our minds matter. And thus, anything that you move your muscles towards in life is a representation of the connections that you value. Right? So let's say you're fasting, a great example. Fasting is a great example for many things. Get tough. So, fasting. When you are in your apartment or in your dorm, you're in the city, let's say, and you find yourself craving food, you find yourself getting hangry, you find yourself wanting some of that nice dopamine, that little dopamine fiend, you want some of that little sugar, baby, you want just a little sugar, baby, just a little sugar, baby, just come on, baby, just a little sugar. And you're craving it, you're fiending it, you're really feeling it in your cells. Your cells like, just a little sugar, baby. Your microbiome is like, oh, just a little sugar, baby. They're all up in there. They're just all jumping. If you move your muscles, if you put your mind to moving your muscles to the point where you leave your dorm, go down all those stairs, go outside, walk down however many blocks and get to a convenience store, go in, Pick out what you want with your mind. Go through to the cash register. Take out your money and connect with the structure by exchanging your money to that food, and then grabbing the food and then taking it back to your dorm and consuming it. That, in so many different levels, is you showing yourself, using your mind, what structures actually matter to you. Because you could either do that, or you could move your muscles to get onto the floor, do 30 push-ups, get up, grab a cup of water, and then sit down and focus on making music. So now, one thing was you using your mind to move your muscles to where you spent money on eating food that made you comfortable, on consuming food that made you comfortable. The other one is you using your mind to move your muscles in a way that actually exercised them and allowed you to create, not consume. You saved your money and you're actually creating new art. You're bringing new value into the world. This is how spirits use their muscles to make their mind matter. And anything that you consistently do is you building a structure that you are using to sit in to experience your life. So this is why it's so important that we are conscious of how we communicate all the time, all day, every day, what we're doing. Because that is building the structures that we're going to use to experience and stabilize our spirit and the rest of our life. It's a lot of responsibility when we really take it to take this to right now. When we just take this lesson, hold up. There's so much that I could change right now, and that I know I've been doing wrong. Yeah, hell yeah. Absolutely. And if you don't feel like that, then honestly, maybe that's good for you. I, as a Virgo, am supposed to be my worst critic, but for real though, I could be way better. And that's just the life, it seems, of refining the way that one communicates to build an even better structure, because that's just how a spirit is using its P to penetrate its O and have ST ability inside of itself to figure out who you are. So it's whatever. Balance. This is just why it's important to, with all this awareness, right, before we wrap up now, make sure that you are connecting with yourself before you're then going out to make money. Because the way that you make money is going to build a structure for the rest of your life. And that is, of course, why we're forced to go to school and forced to not even, we're in a world where we have to spend money to live, but it's illegal for us as humans to make money. I was shut down in grade school for selling drawings multiple times and selling pipe cleaner people. I was taken to the principal's office, and the adults were trying to teach me actually, Chase, you're on private property, so you're not allowed to sell things. You can sell things to kids in your own time if you want to invite them somewhere. I'm like, what? But I don't see people. We're in class. We're here all day, every day. So you're telling me I'm forced to be here. You can force me to come to this building and sit all day, every day. And you can force me to have to spend money to eat food here. If I want any food from anywhere, I have to spend money. But you're telling me that I can't produce content and exchange it for money. Man, these shiesty. is a word that comes to mind. Like oh my gosh, that's so conniving and disgusting. Like, what a horrid white supremacist system. And this is normal here? How, ugh, blah, throw up. It's insane. It made no sense. And that was life. That was life. Boo. So literally, like, I was already on that as a kid. Like, uh, just like, okay, well, if you're going to tell me that I have to literally spend money to eat, then I'm at least going to make art so that I can get money to eat. They're like, no, you can't actually make money here, though. We're making money off of you. But you can't make any form of money, even though it's literally just going to come right back to us. Because that's how shiesty we are. That's how stingy we are. As white supremacists who are invading your indigenous land, your indigenous home. You're here so we can make money off of you. Don't you dare sell any of these little Naruto photos for a quarter and shit. Because I was getting I was getting clean with it, bro. I was drawing like Kakashi doing the lightning blade and Naruto doing Rasengan and starting to like photocopy them out. Man, those were good times. Good times. I had a little business until I was getting shut down because air got out. People were talking. It's just a whole lesson. Like, how disgusting. How dare you force me as a child to sit in your building in land that you're actively stealing from my ancestors, and you're telling me that I need to learn all of your concepts before I'm worthy enough at the age of 18 to start making money. But I'm not allowed to make money while I'm forced to spend money to even be able to eat food, let alone get any kind of video game or have any kind of fun. Oh my god. Disgusting. Blah. I hate you. So, all of that, like, it's just, school is insane. It's all about making money off of you. And I learned that very early on. And I can just communicate it in this way now because it makes way more sense with dissected dialect and like correlating the letters and being able to make up new vernacular and connections based on my understanding of learning the language through all that time then, right? This is like reflecting on my life as well of 24 years. So, wow. Because it's literally just all made up. And it's like, you are the most valuable commodity. All that time that I spent as a child is infinitely priceless. For you to think that you could train me to be worthy enough to make money when you're telling me I can't make money now is insane. Like, it's beyond insane. And then I'm only allowed to start making money inside of the ways that you're telling me I'm allowed to make money. You raped and murdered my ancestors to even make these buildings possible. What? And then when I talk about that, I'm negative. Because as we've covered earlier in this whole episode, when you do not support the structure that you're connected to, you're negative. And just the existence of black people makes white people call us nigger because they feel so negative about the fact that they actively rape us to make money matter. And they have to feel that's the white guilt. Like, they're just actively using the number 1 to penetrate into our O, to just constantly rape us so that they can give birth to new life. To a new 2, to new connection, literally. Like, that's just how it esoterically, numerically plays out. It's insane. It's so annoying how it's just like it just naturally happens this way in terms of fire and water. And like, when spirits that correlate more with fire are in one energy, they naturally project into the spirits that correlate more with water, which is 2 energy, and really the O which is then the expression of a circumstance, the expression of an actual spirit. And then it manifests as zero. It manifests as a water cycle, a circle. And then we get that 1-0, life is binary. It's just spirits and egos interacting in this way. And then it's infinitely through all realms and realities, the white supremacist spirits who feel like they're individuals and thus they feel like they're in hell. And then the indigenous spirits who feel like they're nothing and thus they feel like they're in heaven because they know that they are in control of their internal circumstances and able to create simulations, thus nature that is colonized by outside white supremacist individuals who need to make up concepts of money to connect to the nature that was created from these indigenous individuals going inward to make something from nothing in that hermetic alchemist way. So I mean, that's where I'm just saying life is naturally hermetic, you feel me? Because spirits make something from nothing, and you can either feel good about the way you make something from nothing and do it consciously, or you can not feel good about it and do it just enough so that you consume other spirits' somethings. Considering you are tapped in to the psychedelic symmetry, it should be kind of clear which of these options I believe is much more ST-able and artistic and fun for everyone. So connect with yourself, figure out your greatest passions, your wildest dreams, figure out how you feel about your greatest passions and your wildest dreams, and you will naturally start using your mind to communicate in a way that allows you to make money by making those matter, which then creates a structure that you can use to make even more money. And then at some point, you're not working for money, you're making money work for you. Peace.